Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Welcome back, by the way.
Hey.
It's almost September, so of course that means it's basketball season, because it's always basketball season in Tucson. We had some big news on Tuesday. They're going to build a Lute Olson statue. The cost is $300,000. They're going to put it on the north side of McHale Center. Your thoughts?
It's about time.
Yeah.
I don't care where. I don't care how much it costs, obviously, but it's time, isn't it?
Yes. You wrote, what, a year and a half ago that it was time. And really, I mean, even back then, your rationale was perfect, which is none of us are getting any younger here. Arizona is back to national prominence. We're far enough removed from Lute Olson's departure. Now is the time.
Hey, he changed the image of Tucson. People who moved here recently don't know it. When he came here, Tucson was a tumbleweed junction. There were no winners in sports in Tucson, basically. He changed it.
Right.
I think the whole town felt better about themselves because for 24 consecutive years, they were really good.
As somebody who attended the university, I'm not sure if I would have heard of Arizona growing up in California if they weren't good at basketball. And to be honest with you, there was a belief as a student, since kind of, you know, I don't believe it, but when I was a student, sit there and you go, well, if Arizona can beat UCLA in basketball, well, then Arizona belongs in the same league as UCLA in everything. And if they can beat Stanford in basketball, well, they're better than Stanford. That's something. There's a real identity now for them. And that did not exist before Lute Olson got here.
That's the right word, identity. He changed it. And it's still changed. Sean Miller picked it up and ran with it. And that's Arizona's identity.
Absolutely. For Lute, I know that he can be a little bit of a stoic man. That's the Scandinavian or Norwegian or whatever in him, probably. He told our Bruce Pascoe yesterday how thankful he was. What do you think this means to him?
I think it will touch him more than he expects the day they have the ceremony. Because if you've ever been at a statue unveiling, have you? I mean, it gets you. I was there the day Button Salmon's statue was unveiled at McHale, and his sister came, and she was about 90, and she was in tears the whole time. And it really hit me. I went in there unsuspecting. And so...
He had been dead 60 or 70 years. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the Lute thing because there will be a ton of people standing there on that lawn.
Yeah. You and Lute have known each other through good times and bad for the last 35 years. You really took up for this in print. Why?
Just because of what he meant to the town. He's the most recognizable guy in the history of Tucson.
Yeah.
I mean, who was it before him? John Wayne?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was nobody.
Right.
And now it's Lute.
Now it's Lute.
I was in a doctor's office 2 months ago. Lute walked in. I'm in the waiting room. Lute walks in. He's behind a walker.
Right.
He had fallen down and hurt his neck the night before. And everybody in the waiting room went.
Lute Olson.
They all knew who he was.
Right.
And they were every demographic possible in that waiting room that day. And they all knew who he was, and they all just gasped that he was using a walker.
Right.
Luckily, it was just a temporary thing.
Right, right. He's better now. Yeah.
I mean, just looking around that room that day, it soaked into me that, oh, geez, this guy, everybody knows about him, who he is, and they're all worried about him.
Wow. Wow. Very cool stuff. Lute Olson statue will be unveiled in March, just outside the Hall of Champions, north of McHale Center. Should be, especially if Arizona's any good. And I think they will be.
Yeah, they might be.
That might be, yeah. That might be a pretty big day. That might be a day we circle on the calendar, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably cover it, is my guess. That'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.